Every day, the men and women of trucking are faced with a variety of challenges. Day in and day out, drivers are faced with countless potential hazards, be it bad weather, dangerous roads, or aggressive drivers. And like any business, the folks in the office are faced with their own difficulties and frustrations. Today, I'm talking with a few of the members of the Long Haul family to learn more about the challenges they've encountered throughout their careers and how overcoming those challenges has made them better and stronger.
This industry, there's a lot of challenges in this industry. So we've been very blessed. We've been profitable, and 9/11 was a hit for us, and 2008 recession was a hit for us a little bit. And otherwise, we've made good money, and hopefully they get through this pandemic without a lot of battle scars, and the business picks up. But really blessed to do well. I surrounded myself with a great bunch of people, and that's what's made it successful, is the people that I surrounded myself with. When I met Jason Michaels, he was hauling milk for a local dairy.
Delivering milk was a great job. The company I worked for, the man I worked for, I respected him and we had a good relationship. It was a good company, good people, but it was a tough job. I mean, I would wake up at 11:30 at night and go drive 20 miles to hook my truck up to the trailer that was full of cases of milk, and then I would go start delivering stores. That would end, and I would get back home to my driveway at about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, burning the candle at both ends. And I fell asleep at the wheel twice. Fell asleep, went across a lane of traffic, and I hit a parked Chevy pickup head on. And I blew that pickup up. But when I came to, I didn't know that it had been parked. And so for the initial moments there while I was gathering stuff, I thought there were people in it. And that was a life-changing event for me because I feel like I got lucky. Then the very last thing that happened was I was on my way home from that long shift with my cruise control set, and I fell asleep again. And I went into a road construction site and woke up to the sound of road closed signs and cones just bouncing off my truck. The construction workers in their vests, like scattering because I was plowing into their work zone. I skidded to a stop. The man who was standing on the step of my truck, letting me know through the window how many people I had just about killed. It changed everything. Physically, I was sick and I was shaking, and I went home and I actually threw up a couple times, and I'm looking at my family thinking how many families I could have just possibly destroyed. And the fact that I got by with something so horrific a second time, there wasn't going to be a third. That was the last day I worked for him. Like it was going to change. I managed the way I drove truck after that entirely different. Needless to say, I never had another accident. I made it through the rest of my years of driving without any incidents even similar to that one.
Situations like that, they make you better. They're terrible situations, but you learn from it. You grow from it.
Definitely. There's lessons learned in our biggest failures, right? Learned a lot from that. Yeah, absolutely. I think most of my life lessons, the biggest ones, have come from the times I've screwed up the most.
King of the Road is brought to you by Peterbilt. Extreme Trailers, innovation moving forward, and Long Haul Trucking, running on the power of promises kept. Welcome back. You're watching Long Haul's King of the Road, powered by Peterbilt. Today, we're talking about overcoming challenges and the lessons learned from persevering through hard times. Josh Haynes started out as a driver and worked his way up to become the Vice President of Fleet Operations for Long Haul Trucking.
Josh is super in tune with, obviously, the life of a driver and understanding what it is to be one, because he was a driver for so many years.
You know, you started with Long Haul as a driver. You've worked your way up to the position you're in now. Do you think that that's helped you?
Absolutely. I wouldn't trade my time on the road for anything. It taught me a lot of what I know today. You know, survival too. You're out there by yourself. Doing that as a young kid, I guess, it was kind of a big step. My first trip going cross country by myself at 21 years old.
What were some of the challenges with that?
Scared to death, not knowing what to expect, not knowing where to fuel, shower, wondering if you're going to make it in and out of where you need to be. A lot of anxiety that first trip.
For a lot of drivers, the first time out on the road can be a scary experience. What was that first trip like on your own?
Well, I took a corner too short in a little town in Ohio, and I bent a rim and flattened a tire on my trailer. So I went down the road a little bit, had them fix a tire, bought a new rim, and I was off. So delivering to certain locations, making mistakes to get to those locations, definitely were the most interesting things that happened to me in the truck.
Dad said, go east, it'll be no problem, when all I've heard is horror stories of taking semis to the East Coast and no space. And at that time, there's no cell phones, no GPS, so you relied on the map.
Going someplace that this truck should not be. It happens to you in the big city. Guys would hire a taxi cab and then tell the taxi cab the address they were going to and follow a taxi because there was no GPS. But the cab didn't get paid till they got to the location. You know? Back then when you wrote every direction, you called the customer and wrote everything down. And I was in the Bronx one time and I couldn't make a corner because the cars were parked so close, and there was a guy delivering newspapers. And the back end of his little bitty Chevy Vega or Ford Pinto, it was just full of newspapers, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said to this guy, I said, you know, I'm trying to get to this location and I can't make these corners because the cars are parked too close to the intersections. He said, follow me. And I just went, oh, really? Well, I'm into it now. And anyway, this guy took me and he stuck his hand out the window and pointed, and that was where I needed to go. That was where my delivery spot was.
It's definitely taught me a lot of things that I can bring into what I do today and help new drivers or help people that maybe haven't been around it their whole life and teach them what I know, and just from the experiences I've had and what to do, what not to do. And it's really cool to see when people succeed and you had a little hand in that. And you know, if I can make a group of truck drivers be the best in the country, I mean, it's a win for me personally, but it also is a huge win for Long Haul. I had a lot of great people in my life helping me that walked me through those scary moments, and you know, and I like to do that for the people I work with now.
He's always looking out for the best of the driver and the company.
You know, because he's done it, he's making a huge difference in the revenue of all these drivers because he's teaching them the right way.
Seeing them succeed and being able to do those things and make that better money by going to a difficult place, it's pretty cool.
He's great to partner with when you need something done in a pinch. Just this past weekend, perfect example. It was end of month, and we had a truck that was supposed to go pick up a Saturday shipment for one of our clients, end up not being able to make it. I think it broke down, and the only other option was an owner-operator who was home. So this is like a Saturday afternoon. Josh drove up to the shop, met with the driver, had to get him paperwork to hook up to this new trailer to go down there to go load it, do all these different things. And long story short, he's always going out of his way after hours to put the company first and to do really good things for our clients and for our drivers, and to keep us in a good position. And that's something that I really appreciate about him.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Long Haul's King of the Road powered by Peterbilt coming up next.
Drivers face challenges every day. I would say one of the largest challenges they face is the other drivers on the road. A professional driver can be very good at what it is he or she is doing, but there's a large concern about the rest of the cars on the road. So being a driver, because of the challenges that they go through every day, in my mind, most of them become better.
Experience makes great drivers, but they simply couldn't do their jobs without great trucks. That's where Rob comes in.
Rob Winters was our shop foreman. He's just a good, hardworking guy.
You know, with the COVID going on, I think we stayed pretty darn busy, and safety was priority for us. You know, guys in the shop, you know, we were essential. We worked to keep the trucks moving. You know, everybody came into work every day and did their job. We do whatever it takes to keep Long Haul going, the trucks moving, you know. That's 24 hours a day, my cell phone's on, at night, sitting next to my bed on the stand there, get phone calls all the time, and just got to help the guys when they're broke, and trucking's nonstop. There's always somebody out there driving all night, you know, getting your mail to your house or running steel and aluminum for buildings. The trucks never stop running, so I'm always working too. You know, if some breaks, this thing right here is ringing, so, and I'm busy.
Rob and I work very closely. Rob being the shop manager, probably chat almost 6 to 7 days a week. We're communicating back and forth to how do we get this thing going? How do we keep this truck moving? Always know Rob will be there to help.
Yeah, my dad was a truck driver when I was growing up. Growing up, I usually just got to see him on the weekends and made the best time of it when we were, you know, Friday night or Saturday morning to Sunday, and then Sunday evening he'd leave and ended up retiring here. You know, John put him on his last trip. He never drove to Alaska. He's been in every state, drove in every state here, and just never drove to Alaska. And John, for his last run, got him a trip to Alaska, you know. And it's kind of funny, Dad always wanted to do it. He was gung-ho to go do it. Then when John offered it to him, I mean, it kind of looked at me like, must be pretty important today, but why am I doing this? You know, he started getting nervous. The older he got, the more nervous he is on stuff. And he told me, I don't think I can do this. I'm like, Dad, Jesus. Yeah, you can do this. Just put your big boy pants on and get in the truck and go, you know. And he did, but it turned out pretty good, you know. That never stops. That phone. But yeah, you're raised up in it, you're around it your whole life, you know. When I was, I don't know, I think I was 11 or 12, he broke his elbow in California, and I sat on a Coleman cooler and shifted all the way back from California. We got into Montana, and he got a pillow out of the back of his sleeper. He told me to grab a pillow. I did, and he stood up, had a cruise set, sat on the seat, and I was, I think, 11 years old driving the truck across Montana, you know. And I thought it was cool, you know. I liked it, but these days, I don't think you'd be doing that. Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 missed 5 calls. It's nonstop. But I don't mind. I'm so used to it. It doesn't. Usually they call you. The drivers have an issue and need help, so it's fun to help them. You get them fixed and on the road. They're pretty happy.
Rob's been with Long Haul for quite some time. I've known Rob probably since the day I started at Long Haul 18 years ago. He was the first guy to look at my truck that I was signing on, did the inspection on it. From there, I could tell Rob was a good guy, hardworking, He just does what it takes to get the job done.
Every day, he and his crew are responsible for keeping the trucks in tip-top shape.
We try and do what we can, the best we can to keep things moving. It's challenging sometimes, but it's a job, right? Some lessons I learned on being a manager, it's working with the technicians. Each technician's their own little animal. You can have one guy that's always positive, one guy that's always crabby. And when I first started being a manager, I probably went about it the wrong way. I was more forceful with them and put my foot down, and I wouldn't give. I'd stay on them, and after looking back at that, I kind of like, wow, that's not the right way to approach people. And now, positive reinforcement, guys do a good job. You basically pat them on the back, tell them good job.
And when he became the shop manager, his dad comes in and says, man, I really appreciate this. I said, I didn't give him anything, he earned it all. I mean, he worked very hard.
King of the Road is brought to you by Peterbilt. Extreme Trailers, innovation moving forward, and long haul trucking, running on the power of promises kept.
Welcome back to Long Haul's King of the Road, powered by Peterbilt.
Gary Schlew has been a trucker for most of his life, and he has seen it all.
I remember a time coming back from South Dakota years ago when I drove, when I pulled single axles. The weather was horrible. It was about 15 below zero with the winds blowing about 20, 30 mile an hour. And the snow was drifting across the road, and then all of a sudden the road was blocked in front of us with an accident. And I spent the night out there that night in that truck. And I remember trying to keep that truck running to where I could stay warm. And finally the truck quit. We were out there all night. But I crawled into a truck with a guy next to me because his truck was still running. And luckily he had some food. And we were out there till about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. By the time it was done, I think there was about 150 semis that had quit running out there. Couldn't make it through the night. I was lucky there were other people out there. If there wouldn't have been, I don't know what I'd have done. I guess just huddled in my sleeping bag and just tried to stay warm. But that was the toughest night I think I've ever spent on the road.
So I've had a lot of experiences with Gary over the years, as a driver more so than somebody in the office. And what a teacher, what a mentor, somebody that was willing to offer up advice. And even after I became CEO, Gary was somebody that, and is somebody that's not afraid to come in, sit down, or make a phone call and talk to me about what he sees and what things he might think that we're doing well or could improve on. But Gary's one of the most dedicated individuals that Long Haul's ever had.
Sometimes things get tough, but Gary has proven that he's tougher, and trucking has given him a good life.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be where I am today without the trucking, especially the last 28 years at Long Haul. Some of those years were tough. A couple of years I'd like to throw away. One was I ruptured my Achilles tendon one year. Missed 5 months worth of work. Ended up with blood clots and damn near died. The year that I had my heart attack, it was tough to get going again after that. You know, you take 3, 4, 5, 6 months off. They've enabled me to help me get going again right after that. No, I have no regrets. Sometimes I've worked harder than I'd like to. I remember one year I left on Christmas Eve right after church. And I wondered, what the hell am I doing out here on Christmas Eve? It was a bad year for revenue, and I needed to get going. You know, I needed to produce. You know, I didn't expect somebody else to haul the freight that I had that had been hauling all year just because I wanted to take my holiday off. So when you do dedicated, you do it all the time.
America's truckers are dedicated, hardworking men and women who are proud to do the job. In the modern world, things aren't always easy, but they'd sure be a lot harder without the truckers who keep supply chains moving, who make sure our shelves are stocked, and deliver raw materials nationwide.
Man, it's so cool that's America, right? Like when the times get tough, there's this whole group of people that are willing to say, you know what, times are tough, but I'm tougher.
There was a lot of struggles, but you know, I love this industry. It's been very good to me.
With every challenge, there's a lesson to be learned, a chance to prove yourself, an opportunity to become better. And that's what America is all about.
Thanks for watching this episode of Long Haul's King of the Road, powered by Peterbilt. I'm Haley Shanley. Hope to see you next time.